I realize I've never made a video about XRP, but that whenever XRP enters the chat or XLM, people often claim that it's going to be this bridge between retail institutions and consumers. Here's why I don't think that's likely now or in the future. The first and most important reason is competition. Banks and other institutions have a vested interest in maintaining the status quo, the way we do things now, because they have spent a lot of time and money to put those systems into place. The most notable system that global banks and institutions use to move money back and forth right now is SWIFT. And in terms of blockchain, the number one solution is Tether. SWIFT alone does trillions of dollars in transaction volumes between banks and institutions every single day. Tether does billions of dollars. XRP averages less than $1 billion in transactions a day, and on a good day we're talking like 2 billion. While I do think banks are likely to continue integrating blockchain in the future, I don't think they're likely to do it with Stellar or Ripple and their respective tokens specifically. Here's why. The first is because those tokens, XRP and XLM, are just too volatile. Banks don't want to settle their debts using a currency that might be worth 10 or 20% more tomorrow than it is today. And while you could make the argument that they'll launch a stablecoin on Ripple or Stellar's network, I don't think that's likely either because they're not EVM compatible. Most of these companies are going to do what Chase did with Onyx. They're going to build their own blockchain with their own token. It's almost certainly going to be EVM compatible, meaning it will integrate with Ethereum because Ethereum is highly secure. It's got a ton of developer focus, so it's easy to find people to help you build what you want there. And there are lots of existing models that you can extend or fork to do your own thing. The reason banks want their own private token is because to offer the kinds of regulatory compliant products they have now, FDIC, insurance, etc., they've got to jump through a bunch of hoops. And these legal frameworks haven't been updated to accommodate cryptocurrency. So they're gonna want a blockchain and a token that they own, that they control, and also because it's good for business. If Regions Bank or Chase Bank or Bank of America has their own stablecoin, they're gonna take a cut every time that token is moved around. They're gonna have a vested interest in propping it up. And of course, you might be talking about the future of the banking system, but let's be clear, these incumbents are so entrenched that they're not going to be seriously challenged for another 10 to 100 years. And when they are, I think it's less likely a company like Ripple, which, though it is crypto, is still quite centralized, will be the one to bring the people what they want. I think it's more likely that we're going to see a decentralized stablecoin, different innovations in decentralized finance that people who now understand blockchain will be ready for and will come to demand. A company like that will become the market leader and will give the people what they want, and eventually will displace incumbents and institutions when people see it's just a better way of doing things. Again, I would expect this to be an EVM compatible network because though we're pretty early, Ethereum is leaps and bounds ahead of anyone else in terms of developer activity, ease of use, security, etc. I think it's seriously unlikely that a challenger, but most specifically a challenger like Stellar or Ripple,